All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Archery Project. So I've got Bryan and Cody in the house today. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So starting off, big news. Did you guys see this morning, Bodie Turner?
Signed with Matthews.
Signed with Matthews.
Yes, I did see that.
Well, that's exciting.
It was bound to happen.
It was just dependent upon who was going to fork out what him and his dad wanted. Let's be real.
I'm curious what that looks like.
Yeah, I will never know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, big news. I mean, Matthews, I think that's why Matthews is, when you look at it marketing wise, the brand, everyone knows brand, everyone knows the brand, everyone wants to shoot a Matthews bow, and they have done a fantastic job getting all of the stars and the studs within the archery.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if he has to do any ASAs or what his stipulations are behind his contract.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be. There's
usually a number of shoots they have to attend and everything.
So many events, and it's just a general contract. Like if you were to be a professional athlete, you have to do these things.
And you got to perform.
That's the other thing.
Consistently. And that kid does, man.
Oh, yeah.
How old is he? Like 16?
18.
18 now? Yeah.
Impressive, man. He's a stud. He's a shooter.
Yeah.
An athlete.
Goals.
A real athlete.
An athlete, man. Yeah. I mean, honestly, realistically, goals when it comes to the archery side of things. I mean, he's done it.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're moving in. Cody, you just got back from the IBO National, the first leg of the Triple Crown in West Virginia, the pipe stem was that resort?
Yeah, it's just held on the golf course.
Cool. So how was it?
Humbling.
Yeah.
And always judging distance is humbling if you don't really have any experience doing it.
Yeah.
Me and one of my best friends decided to jump in, just do the semi-pro course. So.
And it's no rangefinders, no
Nothing. Out to 52 yards.
What bow were you shooting?
Concept X37.
Oh, so like trad bow?
Target bow.
Oh, target bow. Okay, got it. Yeah, I don't know what Concept X is.
Well,
New to me.
Yeah.
Hunter? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Hunter.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything, dabbles in all sides of archery. Yeah. I'm more on Bryan's side as far as the hunting setup. I've never really run a target bow, but that's why we've got you here, Cody. We are going, we kind of want to talk about it. So when it comes to IBO, this is their National Triple Crown, right? So there's 3 events.
Yep.
Are they
Franklin, Pennsylvania, which will be next month, mid-June, I think.
Yeah, June 12th through the 15th.
Yep, and then Nelsonville, Ohio will be the final.
Yeah, which is in July.
Yeah, and then you have Worlds.
So the IBO World Championship, right?
Yes.
So do you have to go through and qualify?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I can't remember what place. I don't know if it's how dense the field is. Typically, it's either half. I know online it said 30, top 30 qualify for Worlds, so you could shoot at Worlds.
So now, in order to go, do you have to get invited to this first event? You just
Nope, you can just show up. You can pay the entry fee. I think it was $148 for my class. Shoot.
So that was what was crazy too, because what are the so you shot the semi-pro class, and then they have the pro classes, right?
Yes.
So what's the distinguishing difference between the two?
Biggest thing I saw was entry fee. It's almost $200 more to shoot in the pro class.
You don't have to have a pro card or a semi-pro card.
We shot the same stake. They kind of just rearranged the targets a little bit.
Really?
So we all shot from the same stake, everything.
And so you guys, the way the course is, you're not shooting with the pros. You guys shoot separate.
Yeah, they split us up. So for our ranges, we were on M and N range. So day 1, semi-pro, senior, and I think pro hunter class. So bow hunting setup shot the M range, and the pros shot the N range.
Okay, so you got to shoot 2 different ranges. It's a 2-day event, and it's
40 targets.
A total of 40?
Yeah, 20 per day.
So with the bow hunter classes, there are rangefinders allowed in that one?
It's out to 45. Nope, no rangefinders with
wow.
IBO.
So IBO across the board, you have to, it's unknown distance, and you have to be able to range
you just
that.
Walk up to a stake and hope you guessed right.
So this is what was really interesting. So I was talking to Cody a little bit about it already, and kind of picking his brain. That's why I want to do the episode. Is some of the things that you picked up and learned, because obviously you evolve and learn every time you go to one of these shoots, especially this type, because you have to be so tuned in with what's going on. So one of the things that you were talking about is, because guys aren't going to tell you what they until after the fact, right? After everyone shoots, what the distance is. Some of the tips that you picked up, one of the things that you made mention of is listening to the bow and how long until the arrow impacts the target.
That was a big one. So assuming your group, which I got very fortunate with my group, first day, because it's completely random, and then second day you're with your peers. So going into day 2, I shot a 171, which is pretty low. So I was grouped with everybody, either a point or two above me and a point below, whatever. Like 4 people in a group. But day 1, I was with the top guys that shot this weekend, which is crazy. So I got very lucky. And we were all within like 2 feet per second. So all within 301 to 304 feet per second. And the low 30s, it's real hard to tell. But if you walk up to a target, you can kind of like, it's like low to mid 30s and just see that. And then you get the report when they shoot, if you're not leading off, like, okay, we got there really quick. It's when you get to the mid 40s to max distance when you're like, okay, that took a second to get there. Like you heard the bow go off and you heard the arrow hit the target like a second or two later. Like, okay, that's a far shot.
Yeah.
So you're using that to help you.
That's just a gauge. So like obviously when you walk up to the stake, we're all standing there. We're like trying to see the depth perception, use trees, use whatever we can, our methods of judging, and just being like, in my head, that's 45. So I try to talk myself into, is it more? Is it less? Am I over guessing? And then I'll use, if I'm shooting last or whatever, I'll use information I can gather from them too. Like, okay, like he shot and it's like, wow, it hit really low. So, okay, if I'm judging it for this, did I underjudge it? Did I overjudge it? Stuff like that.
Right. So there's a lot of things. So it's like whenever we shoot 3D and stuff, right? It's fun. You kind of
we're cutting up the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
You're not doing that with this.
Oh, we are.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
But you're not talking ranges.
Oh, my mannerisms don't change. But yeah, we don't talk ranges until we're done. Or if we're going to talk ranges, like say Zakk's on the stake and me and you are behind him.
Yeah.
I'd be like, if I've already shot, I'll just like hold up a number and be like, that's what I shot it for if you've already shot. And you can tell me what you shot it for.
Oh, gotcha. But you won't tell anybody who hasn't shot yet.
No. Because then it puts an idea in their head. And our sight tapes are covered, so they can't see what we shot it for.
Interesting. How are you covering them?
I just poked a hole in a vein and screwed it in under my sight tape.
Dang. See, I would never even have considered that. My stuff would have been exposed. It wouldn't have mattered if you were following me anyways, and I had to judge. So
Zakk's cutting off a piece of his shoelace to tape it on.
Hey, man, whatever works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey.
So is that a requirement that you have to cover yourself? Wow.
Yep.
That's
for IBO.
Sure.
Just that way, like if you see my bow and say it's on 45, you're not like in your head, you're like, okay, he shot it for 45. He's 2 inches low. I'll shoot it for 47. And it might help you. And like I went into this with my sight tape being about a yard hot.
Did that help you
I think
at all?
so.
Because when I set up my hunting bow, my 20 is always 22. So I'm 1.5 yards to 2 yards hot always.
I think
in case I have to gap shoot.
Because I've noticed even when I shot this last year for the first time, I tend to underjudge everything. So when I'm off, I'm usually off about 1 to 3 yards under what it is.
Sure.
It's like a fail safe. Running a little hot. If you're continuously underjudged.
It just gets tough when you're leading off and then you're like I had it's a pronghorn. I shot it for 47. It was probably 44. And I hit like 2 inches under its spine. Still got an 8, but it was like really high.
Right.
So it can cost you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you miss any?
No.
Well, there you go.
Last year I missed 3. So,
dude, so that was what I said.
Goal.
When we were talking, I'm like, how'd you feel like you did? He's like, I did okay. And then I was like, did you miss any? No. I was like, dude, that's for judging and then shooting under that kind of pressure on a course like that in the semi-pro class is impressive.
Yeah. I almost didn't ask. You don't ask somebody while they're in prison. I wasn't sure the etiquette. That's why we do the
IBO in the podcast here. We're asking the questions.
Yeah, no, I like it.
I had almost a 40-point improvement over last year,
which is huge. So what do you think has led to that? I mean, is there a training schedule? Is it the bow setup? Is it what are the?
I am a big fan of that bow, so I think that did help some, just confidence and comfort with it. But I think the biggest thing for me was realizing the little bit of practicing I did shooting at Moore County and stuff on an ASA course was realizing that my 20 yards is a lot closer than it appears. So when you're standing in the woods on a stake, like you really have nothing to base it off of.
Right.
So I've tried to imprint like, okay, this is my 20-yard mark. And when I first started judging this year, unknown, going at it cold, my 20 was like my 25. I was way off. So when you try to judge from that, you're just multiplying that.
See, I always do that in the woods, though. Yeah. As I'm sitting there, I will range trees. All right, I know that's 20. I know that's 30. So that way I'm not trying to range if that animal.
Yeah. So I'll do that.
It's not stopping.
But like when I went to do this, we don't have our rangefinders with us.
Right.
Now, in practice, we will, but typically we don't have them with us.
Now, you say it was on a golf course?
Yes.
So was it wide open shots?
We had
on the course?
About 8 targets wide open.
Yes.
On the course, and then everything else was wooded. Down
okay.
The first course, the M range was tough, and it was all wooded. It was down a ridge, and we just worked our way around. It was pretty rough. There was like 2 open shots.
Oh, wow.
Down a road, so it was just a hallway.
Yeah, which also makes it extremely difficult to judge range because it's just a straight road. You're like, it looks about 300 yards to the end of the road.
Do you find it's easier to judge in the woods?
No. Because we don't have any terrain or anything here to judge off of.
Right.
And they take yardage away any way they can.
Oh, with elevation and gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, like 2 targets that got me this weekend were the javelina. It was like 50, 51 yards.
That's a long shot on that target regardless.
Didn't see it. Couldn't find it. Couldn't make it up. I shot it for 45 and barely caught underneath it. Then the Wolverine was, I think everybody shot it for 37, 38, and I shot it for 30 because I could not see it.
Yeah.
So I should have missed, but I got lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was in West Virginia, so the style of course, is there a lot of elevation out there?
Most of these were downhill shots.
Okay.
So you would kind of want to make sure your third axis is good. I had a lot of weird low right misses. I'm going to blame the wind because we had 30 to 40 mile an hour gust up there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I would definitely blame the wind.
But I don't know if it was me because I had some shots where I was like, okay, they were still downhill and I hit right in the 10 ring. Mm-hmm. But then I had a few, which cost me an 8 and a couple 5s that were just way right. I have no idea what they were.
Interesting. So with this Triple Crown setup, which leads to the World Championship, right? So do you have to attend all 3? Do they drop below a score?
No, you'd have to attend all 3.
You've got to do
it's an accumulative score if you want to compete in that.
Gotcha. So you can shoot all 3 and still not qualify.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to pay that $150 every time?
Yep. For the semi-pro class.
Oh, wow.
So what'd you think of the actual location of this? So I know you're from West Virginia. It was close to your home. As far as this course and setup and the facility itself, is it pretty cool?
Yeah. It was good. I'm from Virginia, though.
No, yeah.
You can't get those confused. Yeah.
Oh, you're in Virginia.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why do I thought you told me
I'm
you
like right there on the line.
You're on the border. Oh, okay. So you're from Virginia, not West Virginia.
So I stayed with my grandparents in Virginia, and we'd fish and stuff and then go shoot.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes more sense.
The terrain's literally the same, though, in both areas.
Right.
So what with that, so you're doing IBO, right? Is the arrow, what arrow are you shooting?
So I was shooting an X cutter, a gold tip X cutter. I think it was like 28 inches and came in at 366 grains.
Pretty big diameter, though?
25.
Yeah. Okay.
It came in how much? What was the overall weight?
366 grains.
So when you're building your arrows, are you building them to achieve a specific speed?
So for that, I was.
Okay.
Typically, my ASA arrow from where I'm shooting known, I shoot in the mid 280s because I'm not worried about trajectory as much, and I know what I'm shooting.
Right.
So everything in IBO is based on strategy, from the way you build your bow to your arrow to the speed you're trying to achieve to the way you judge yardage. You've got strategy involved in every aspect. Yeah. It's a thinking man's game.
Oh yeah.
And you really got to do you take it trajectory into effect? Like you want it as flat as possible?
Yeah, you want it as flat. That way if you misjudge yardage, it doesn't impact you as much.
Right.
So if you're shooting 303 compared to 283 at 20 feet per second, like you could be off inches.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
So what's the max speed you can get out of it?
With their chronograph, if you test it there, it could be 309.
Okay, so you've got to stay within that. So whenever you're setting it up, if you're on 309 here,
you could be way over there or way under there.
Yeah. Okay.
So I try to keep it in the low 3s, which is way faster than I usually shoot.
Yeah.
So how many pounds are you shooting?
I have it twisted up to 64.
Okay. So very manageable.
Yeah.
What's your holding weight look like? Do you know?
17 and a half pounds.
So you're holding a lot of weight on the backside.
Yeah.
Well,
not for me, but
okay, but for like
I'm
a standard,
used to holding a lot of weight.
that makes sense. So so is there a reason? So for me, whenever it comes to holding a little bit more weight on the back half, I feel like it keeps me honest and keeps me on the back wall a little bit more versus relaxing, because whenever I relax, I tend to throw my shot. It seems like. Do you notice like you shoot better when you hold more weight?
I think it just helps me balance out my stab weight overall, and it does keep me in the shot longer too.
So with that stab weight, how much are you barred out?
I mean, I don't think it's substantial, but it depends on who you ask. I'm running 17.5 on the front and 28 on the back.
Ounces?
Yeah.
What are the lengths of the bars?
30 on the front, 12 on the back.
Okay. And so you're holding all of that weight and holding 17 pounds of back wall tension. Yeah. That would get, to me, tiresome. Coming from shooting just a hunting bow.
Well, I don't know if you know Cody. Cody shoots a bow more than you. Maybe more than you.
Yeah.
I do shoot a lot.
Like a lot. And every time I talk to him, I'm like, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going to shoot my bow.
Yeah. I mean, nothing but something to do.
At my house, and I've got a variety of targets there. So,
Do you live in a neighborhood?
No, not really.
Okay. Because I get a lot of flack for that.
I'm like, it is technically a neighborhood, but I live in a cul-de-sac, and there's a swamp behind it.
Yeah. Well, I have to stand in the cul-de-sac and shoot.
I can stay in my yard and get 8.
No, I can't. I got to shoot over my neighbor's driveway through my fence.
Dude, so Bryan posts these videos, and it's him shooting across the neighborhood. And I'm just waiting at some point for one of the neighbors to complain.
They have.
Yeah, well, that's not going to stop you, clearly.
Well, they called the police and said I was discharging a firearm in the street.
Wow.
Technically, firearm.
So I went through and I looked at all the scores from this past weekend. And the top 10 shooters shot a 384 or better.
Yeah.
Like that's.
But that's both days combined, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I had a really hot second day where I only dropped 10 points.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what happened. I could just see it better. Got a little luckier.
Was it the course setup? You said the one course was more challenging, I thought.
It was. They were both tough though.
Right.
Like the pros, from what I could gather, had issues with their day one, the in range, just like we did too.
Really? Do you think it was maybe because you got used to judging, right? Because it was back to back?
I've only judged, I can count on both hands how many times I've been on a full course judging.
Really? Huh.
I guess I just understood it a little better, maybe.
Yeah. Is this the first one of these you ever done?
This was the second. So I came in dead last year. So it was nice I was like, for me going into this, I didn't have a goal aside from improving on not being dead last.
So I went and like I said, I was looking at the scores when I was making my notes for this and looking at everybody. And yeah, from going dead last to where you are this time, that was a huge improvement.
There's almost 40 points from last year for me.
Yeah, that's a massive jump, man.
Yeah.
So you weren't last?
No.
Not even
20th.
close.
Yeah, I was 20th.
Yeah, 20th.
Out of
32, 33.
33.
There you go. Nice, yeah.
33 shooters. And and the thing about it is all these shooters are decent shooters, are good shooters. I mean, you're not just shooting guys that are just casually. No one's paying $150 to casually go shoot a competition. No, so it's all good shooters.
The guys I shot with the first day, they've known each other for plus 10 years, and they've been doing IBO since, I think one guy was like the mid 2000s.
Oh, wow.
So he's been doing this for a long time. And then one of the dudes that won it, I think he got into it in the early 20 teens.
So I would think that continuously doing this and judging those targets on the fly, you're bound to get better.
Yeah. The hard part is it's 40 Reinhardt targets that nobody ever shoots, especially in the Southeast. Everybody does ASA or nothing.
Dude, okay. I like those targets so much better.
So it's just literally the 10 ring.
Yeah, you have a 10 and then 11.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's hard if you drop an 8. It's at least 2 targets to make those points back up.
Right.
So it's really just a game of trying to stay even and catching an 11 when you can.
Catching an 11 when you can.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm shooting for vitals when I shoot a target.
I'm just foam, especially like TAC events.
Well, TAC's a little different.
We get excited when we hit foam.
Oh, I was happy hitting foam for this.
Yeah.
I'm just standing there guessing.
An educated guess is what I would call it. Because you've taken so many factors into consideration when you made that guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you realize it or not, listening to it from somebody who doesn't do it and listens to how calculated you are on everything, and then knowing you personally, because every day I come in, Cody's tinkering with the bow, like every day's a different bow until he's getting ready to shoot something. From what I can tell, like he's got was like an AX2,
the 29
that you were shooting, and then you got all these target bows and then trad bows, so constantly tinkering, and then being able to efficiently.
Just the fact that he knows everyone's 302 to 309, and you're counting the seconds it takes from release to target.
Not really
and you're
counting, but you get to hear that report when it hits, and you're just like,
never would have thought of it.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
Never.
He was telling me, I said, well, I never would have considered that. That's a good strategy, man. Because you will be able to hear that report. Obviously,
Sure.
It starts to give you a little bit of idea where you should at least start. I'm assuming.
yeah, it gives me like an idea. It's like I'm like, okay, it's not 40 yards.
Yeah.
It's a little further.
So can you, walking up to a target, can you walk us through your shooting second? Walk us through your process.
So we typically for this, we'd all go up on the stake so we don't waste a whole lot of time. If there's not a bottleneck actually helped us out on one target. I've got a picture of it. It's a 46 or 47 yard coyote, and it's the Reinhardt coyote, so it's super tiny.
Yep.
So thankfully there's a bottleneck there, so I could hear two groups shoot before us. Like, okay, that's definitely a longer shot. Like you could hear the bow go off, and then the arrow hits the target.
Sure.
So that did help there. But when we get up to the stake, we're all standing there, and we're looking at it, trying to calculate in our head how far we think it is. And there's a little more pressure on you when you're leading off.
Sure.
Because you have nothing to go off of besides your number that's in your head.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing, and it could be wrong, could be right, but it worked for me, is I'll try to find my 20. And like I said earlier, like I've realized my 20 is a lot closer than it appears. So I'll guess where my 20 is, and usually I'm within 1 to 2 yards anymore.
Sure.
And I'll try to double it.
Mm.
And if I can double it, like I'm like, all right, that's more than 40 for sure. Like how much further than 40 is that? So then I'll start, like, is it 45? Can I see more? Can I see like, okay, it's 46. And I'll talk myself into 46 or out of 46.
Are you allowed to use binos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So going up to the stake, after that, you can make all of your sight changes you want until you draw the bow. So once you come to full draw, and say you look at it, anchor in and look at it through your scope, you're like, oh no, that's 50. You can't change it. Once you're at full draw, even if you let down, I think you can have 3 or 4 letdowns.
Okay.
You can't touch your sight.
Well, that changes everything.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Because it looks way
That's why I
different.
shoot, like my scope set up. I have a 31 millimeter Excel housing with a 6 power scope. I've noticed for 3D, because I've shot the same housing for 2 or 3 years now. And I've been using that more of a gauge. Be like, okay, if I can see a lot of the target, it's a lot closer than it looks. Or if I see a little bit more, like I can, a little bit less. Same with detail.
Sure.
If I can see rings, like I've shot it enough. If I can see rings, I know it's at least 40 yards or something like that. I gauge it off my scope too.
That's interesting. So that's one of the reasons for using that smaller scope housing.
For me, it seems to work. Yeah.
So now can you just hold the bow up and look through, without drawing it,
I mean,
look through that scope?
Be real blurry. So you have to look through your clarifier and everything.
Oh, so you are using a clarifier and a magnification?
Yeah, he said 6X, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
I noticed.
Sorry.
I picked up on it, though. I'm listening.
But there was one target. I was thankfully the last one. It's either the last one. Yeah, I was the last one up on it. It was a bear. And we could not see. It was max yardage, so 50, 51 yards. 2 guys in my group shot it for 42 to 44 and hit really low. And it was an open shot down a gravel driveway.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see. I set my sight for 46, and I was like, and I could see a lot of black in my scope. Like that, it doesn't look like it's that far. And it turned out it was like 50 yards. And I was holding it on the hump, and I still hit at the bottom of the 10.
Wow.
So I was still 4 yards off, probably.
That sounds pretty dang good to me, though.
I know. Yeah.
Wow, that was perfect.
I mean, it was still a 10, so I didn't lose any points. But
Yeah.
But it wasn't an 11.
No.
I mean, let's be real.
yeah, I wasn't getting any points back.
Jesus. So these courses, I mean, what is it like as far as so someone that's never been to these, what's the atmosphere like being at at these? Is it high tension? There's it's high stress, or is it just based on who you're around?
I think a lot of it's based on who you're around, just like everything else. I try to keep the same mentality and personality going into all this, where I'm just really chill.
Not you.
Yeah. And I'll fill the group out I'm with, but eventually we all start to cut up and everything. But even the pros, I mean, unless it's really tough or they get upset about something, because we interacted with Levi and Tim, and they were really, really chill, really cool guys.
So, I mean, and with that though, was there any complaints from any of the guys out there?
From what I could gather, yeah.
What's the biggest complaint with a
whole,
course like
whole
that?
Details though.
Is it course related, or is it the way it's run?
I think it was course related. The way it was ran was kind of a pain because there's not a lot of information out on it.
Right. I tried to look it up.
Listen,
that's the hard part with IBO.
Dude, I went on the website. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to gather more information about IBO in general. There's like a history from like 1949, so-and-so, and then 1979, or whatever the dates are. But as far as information on it itself, how it operates, the structure of it, I couldn't find anything like helpful.
The only thing I found, I joined the Facebook group last year. So they actually sent out almost like a flyer for the events and like the way it's going to be laid out.
Okay.
Last year, doing my first one, being there, I was like, this is a nightmare. So we showed up early Friday, me and my other buddy, to register, and we thought we were going to shoot Friday. So we got there at 7 o'clock.
7 a.m.?
Yeah.
To not shoot.
Turned out we just showed up to register, and we don't shoot until Saturday and Sunday.
Joy.
So we shot, they have a bow hunter defense course there. It's just a 10 target range. You get put into 2 raffles for that too. Just cool.
Yeah.
But you kind of just pick, they have 10 random targets scattered around the golf course, and you just pick, they'll have a stake showing you where the target's at, and you could pick whatever yardage you want to shoot. Just to get, warmed up, get used to judging with a little bit of terrain through the woods and everything too.
Yeah.
Huh. That's kind of cool.
So now, were you there? You were there a day early last year.
Yeah.
Was there like a vendor village or anything like there is at TAC?
There's some good vendors.
Okay.
But it's slowly dying.
Yeah.
It is slowly dying? Yeah. Really? Just because of just the attendance wise?
I think TAC being in West Virginia didn't help because it was less than an hour away from us.
Oh, yeah.
And then not a lot of people like to judge.
No, yeah, right.
So
That's
the hard part too.
So that's interesting. I mean, look, and when you look at the archery as a whole, right, the industry, it's very niche. And there is a lot, but there's not a lot. And I think TAC has really revived a lot of it and honestly brings a lot of new individuals into the target side of shooting things just because it's such a welcoming venue. There's so much to see and do. I mean, look at ATA. ATA has slowly been dying. Your massive manufacturers have pulled out of that event in the last couple of years. I mean, the big Matthews, I think Hoyt have not attended. Matthews was right beside us at TAC in Tennessee. So I'm curious as far as the target side of things goes, if it's going to, it's just going to be stale and stagnant, or if there's a way that it can be revived and get more people involved in it to grow it.
I would hope it could be revived.
Me too.
I find a lot of relaxation in doing this because it's less stuff I have to take into the woods, which is always fun for me. Kind of just walk out there with a bino harness and a quiver full of arrows and just walk around and guess.
And there's a lot I think that you can gain from that as well too, as far as being confidence building wise with the bow, right? Yeah. I mean, one, you're shooting a different style of bow, so you familiarize yourself with different setups. You play a little bit more. You become a little bit more technically savvy with your equipment. And then the skill of being able to judge yardage, I think that would carry over wise in a hunting scenario is big too, big as well. Just because for me, like whenever hunting wise, like you just talked about, right? You pre-range indicators, so you kind of have an idea, but there's going to be gaps. And if you can look through your sight as an animal's moving and you can kind of gauge that yard accurately, your shot's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, you'll be a little more confident in guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious, man. I wonder what target archery looks like in the future, how it grows, how it's revived, and what sticks around.
You think about it. Could that be a reason that Matthews went after Bodie Turner so bad? Because he can do. Obviously, he's got the Vegas, the 3D shoot, or the 3-spot, 5-spot, whatever he is winning now.
All of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Reading, Mark 3D, yeah.
So
yeah,
everything.
see what I mean? So I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, no, and I look at it, and you make a good point about it too, Cody, is, when we talk about the target side of things, where we're located, like target archery was big during COVID for us. Like that was when it was big, that was its peak, and then that was its death afterwards where we're at. Target archery is not our focus anymore. It's so small. But you talk about, you go a little bit west in the state, even here in North Carolina, and it's a much bigger crowd. So we might be missing out on the actual size of it because, one, we don't attend any of the ASA or IBO events, which hopefully, in the future, yes, we can get involved in those side of things as well. Because I mean, obviously, we got some guys who do a really good job there. One shooting them, knows all about them. I don't know where I was going with that, but
I don't know. I'd like more people to get in target archery.
Yeah.
It is good. I mean, it keeps you, for one, as soon as deer season ends, a lot of people just put their bow down.
Right.
Which I'm not one of those people, but that means usually when deer season ends, we got indoor season starting, which I hate shooting paper and indoor, but
Agreed.
it does teach you how to shoot better because you're trying to do the same thing for 30 shots or more.
Yes. But I like to cut up and have fun, and I don't know. I feel like the few 3D or the indoor paper shoots that I've done here, there's a lot of seriousness that goes into it, and don't talk and don't.
There's a handful of individuals, and that was one of my, I don't want to say turnoffs, but it's definitely a little bit more tension, and they take it, and the guys that are doing it take it very serious. So it's not as fun to me because of that.
Right. Well, and especially like we did the Toys for Tots shoot this year, right? Or Christmas time.
Yeah.
It was for a great cause. Everybody brought in an unwrapped toy of X amount of dollars, and I wanted to make it fun for everybody. And there was just those couple guys that were like, I'm here to win. Like, well, there's nothing to win. We're not doing this for you. We're doing this. So I was like, wow, man, I don't know if I like shooting dots anymore.
It does get frustrating. It's great practice, though.
Sure, I agree.
It keeps you shooting, and then, once indoor season's over, we roll right into 3D.
I think, too, though, talking to guys like you about it, how you can look at it as more of an asset to improve your shooting versus just mindlessly going up and shooting them. There's a little bit more strategy. I think that, to me, would make me more engaged in it and make it more enjoyable because there's an end goal with it. Obviously not just to shoot good, but you're putting something else into practice. And talking about, archery is repeatability. You've got to do the same thing the same way over and over again to be consistent and accurate. It's just another approach at becoming a better archer or bow hunter.
That's the whole reason I really got into target archery. Like I've strictly bow hunted since I was in my early teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I worked at Hamskey, Devin, one of the engineers there, got me into target archery because I used to shoot a hunting bow so much.
Right.
And that was a good foot in the door with target archery. And it just teaches you to tinker more. Like usually if your hunting bow is perfect, you don't want to mess with it.
Right.
Target bow, there's so many disciplines you can get into. You're constantly changing things. And you're able to work with your stabilizers. You're able to tweak your rest, your sight, everything.
I think that's why you're such a good tech, too.
Agreed.
I mean, because
you're always chasing that one little thing that can make you hold a little steadier, maybe can't really see better, but everybody's chasing something.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not nearly as involved, but like when we were at TAC, right? My bow shot really, really well. I feel like I shot really well, but the bow, it floated really bad for me. So that's what we only got a couple days till we go to Pennsylvania, and I haven't made time for it. But my goal was to talk to Cody, you, and JR, and see where should I add weight to the bow? What should I change on it? Where should I should I run a back bar on it? Should I add a little bit of weight? Should I run a longer stabilizer? Just to improve my shooting out at TAC, because that was my biggest struggle. Was that Mach 33 is so light, and I'm running a 6 or 8 inch front bar, and that's it. And it just at full draw, in any kind of little bit of breeze or wind and those long shots, it just seemed like it floated a little bit more than I wanted it to.
Yeah. I mean, with that's where I like target archery. Like I'll tinker with everything from draw length, D-loop length, timing, everything, trying to chase a certain hold or feel. And when you get it right and you're balanced right with your bars, like the bow almost doesn't move.
That's the goal.
Is your shot process different
No,
from a target bow to a hunting bow?
Nope. shoot the same release, everything, same grip position. Do the same thing with both bows.
So you run a hinge?
Yes.
Just one hinge?
Just a hinge with everything.
What hinge do you shoot?
The True Ball Fulcrum Flex.
Dude, it's hard to go. So I moved over to the HBC.
Yes.
From True Ball, and I feel like it has made my shot significantly better. So really? I still really enjoy shooting the Stand Onyx thumb button clicker. I really enjoy that release, but I feel like going back and forth and then, putting more emphasis on the hinge, that I execute a shot a lot more consistently. For me,
yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like I pull through my shot better with that release than what I do with my thumb button.
It's a little harder to cheat. With the thumb button, you can literally just squeeze the button and it's going to go off. Right. The hinge, the only way to cheat it is to just dump your ring finger or pinky finger if you have a forefinger on it.
Right. So, and I feel like from the time I get into anchor to the time the click goes off to the time I execute my shot, it's more consistent with my hinge than what it is with my thumb button, because sometimes I'll hit that click and I can't get the release to go off.
Freeze.
Yeah. And I get frozen in my shot.
That's why I try to tell people to just keep the release moving. Cause that's why I can shoot a button and then my mind takes over and then I just anticipate when it's going to go off.
Yeah.
So if I want to shoot a button, I have to, my whole shot process is going to be me telling myself to keep this thing moving. If you're going to get a little bit of movement, just try to keep the pin in the middle. Just keep squeezing. It's going to go off.
Yeah. And the thing too, I like about the True Ball releases too is, so some of the hinges that I've shot, whenever you hit that click, because I like shooting it with the click, whenever you hit that click almost the click is hard. I don't even know how else to explain it. Right. But with the True Ball releases, it feels like it's just enough to feel it and hear it before it goes off, because some of the releases I've hit, it feels like my hand jerks a little bit when I hit the click.
Yeah,
like the internals
are machined almost too deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with a hinge, and this is the only thing that scares the crap out of me with the hinge, I feel like I have to over exaggerate that forward motion with it for the draw cycle.
That's just you being scared.
You
don't have to. I try when I do mine, I've got it set up cold enough for me where I can keep even tension. So when I draw back to anchor, it's literally just a little bit of relaxation. I get to the click, and then I just start to squeeze a little bit, and it goes off.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really played with them because they just scare me so bad.
I think that's the biggest thing with most people is they have a fear of it. So we were at TAC, and Matthews was right beside us.
Yeah.
And it's all kids, and I say kids, they're young guys from the factory there, like the customer service guys. There was a warranty guy there. Super cool dudes. Just real nice guys. And they were two of the younger guys there. They were messing with the bows and they were shooting a hinge, but they couldn't get the bow back because they were scared. They never shot hinges. I just thought it was funny because it was like the common problem you see with people with a hinge is their fear of drawing the bow or the bow prematurely going off because they don't know how to hold the release or, draw the bow back without.
Yeah.
That's where I recommend one with a safety, like the Sweet Spot Pro by True Ball. Mm-hmm. It has a safety, so you just engage it as you're drawing, and you could literally rotate your hand any way you want.
Yeah.
And it won't go off. And when you get to your anchor, you just disengage the safety, and you can start your shot process.
Huh. I feel like that defeats the purpose of a hinge.
Yeah, it still activates the same way. It just gets you more comfortable with how it shoots.
Yeah. Dude, the way I did, I just got on a shot trainer.
That helps the most.
Dude, the shot trainer is the move. I mean, that's what anybody that comes in the shop that wants to get on a hinge, they're like, let me shoot it with my bow. We're like, nope. Here you go. Here's a shot trainer first.
Yeah.
And now you can go try it with your bow before you let this thing go or you send another arrow into our lights.
Another.
Yeah. All right, dude. So as far as IBO, what are your plans moving forward? Are you going to shoot the second and third leg of it?
Probably not the second leg because it's like northwestern Pennsylvania. I don't feel like going to almost Canada to shoot.
Yeah, it's a poke.
It's up there. I looked it up this morning. It's like 10 and a half hours.
Hey, that seems like everywhere we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's right by Seven Springs. We're going there next weekend.
Yeah.
I might look at Nelsonville, or if I did qualify for Worlds, I might look at that because I think it might be in Seven Springs.
But you said you had to do all three, right, to qualify for Worlds?
I mean, if I made the qualification cut with the first leg, I could still shoot. I just wouldn't win anything.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, I understand it now.
Yeah.
So, okay, got it. So you're looking at potentially doing the third one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or I might try to do an ASA. I don't know. Because London got canceled this weekend because of that tornado.
Dude.
It's insane.
So taking it back, this past weekend for archery was bad.
Yes.
Yeah,
All
horrible.
across
Nothing
the
good.
East. Nothing good happened. London got smoked by a tornado. We were supposed to be in West Virginia. I was super sick. We ended up canceling on it. A dude got shot in the face at TAC, which unreal how that happened. I mean, across the board, all the events that happened were just, it was not a good weekend for the archery world at all.
And it doesn't help all of the speculation.
No, it doesn't.
You know what I mean?
Because
no one, only the folks that were there firsthand know exactly what happened.
absolutely.
Everyone else is speculating, and then it's
a wildfire right now as far as when you look at the comments and stuff, because exactly what you're saying, everyone's speculating on what has happened. And, you know, we don't know exactly what happened, but clearly there was a miscommunication somewhere and you know, something pretty
multiple things went wrong in that chain of events
and
for something like that to happen.
Yeah,
I think
pretty
it's good that
traumatic.
TAC disabled the comments on their Facebook page because people just kept asking questions and kept posting the same thing.
Dude, super smart. And also, so we talked to some guys that were out at West Virginia TAC that were kind of feedback, and they say TAC handled it so well when it came to how they took care of the shooters at the event. They literally, whatever you wanted to do, they were willing to do, whether it was refunds for Sunday, they were giving you guaranteed positions for next year. They were handing out just anytime people were going up to the registration, they were giving out tons of product, apparel and stuff, because they canceled it Saturday after it happened. And then they shut down Sunday. So nobody got to shoot on Sunday. Vendor Village shut down by noon. I think everyone had to get out, but there were still guys who I guess didn't get the email that everything had closed down. So they were still showing up to shoot, and the guys from TAC took care of everybody. Like the Total Archery guys did a phenomenal job on that. So hopefully the dude that ended up getting shot is okay. I mean,
hopefully they started a GoFundMe for him too.
They did. They've raised a ton of money for him. So
it's unfortunate.
It is.
And a lot of the guys that did shoot, I think some of the guys in my group day 2 had people coming from TAC to shoot one of the trail courses IBO has.
Yeah.
I think they had shots out to 104 yards is what I gathered there.
Wow.
So there's more going on there than just that.
Yeah, I didn't even know about the trail course.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's limited information from what I could find.
Yeah, I looked it up today too.
It was like a 3.5 or 4 mile course, 20 or 30 targets out to 104 yards.
So maybe that's one of the problems is the marketing side and the reach that they've had, because it sounds, I mean, because that right there is kind of enticing. It's like, okay, so there's more than just shooting those.
Yeah, and from what I gathered, they didn't have enough people do it, but they were going to do a PSE giveaway or an elite giveaway. Those are the only 2 vendors there.
Yeah, it sounds like
for bow manufacturers at least.
Oh yeah,
it sounds like they're missing the marketing, or at least the general awareness about it. Yeah,
but it's the same thing. Like nobody wants to shoot unknown.
This is true.
to 104 yards.
Well, you could range that.
Oh, okay.
But nobody wants to go to IBO to shoot 40 targets without a rangefinder.
Well, I mean, I think it would be.
I think it'd be cool because they have a vet class, which I found this out earlier this year. And it's
Well,
only
it's
out to
only-
40 yards, and you shoot with a bunch of vets.
But it's only going to make you better.
Yeah.
Why aren't you there?
I didn't know about it.
See, there's the other
let's
thing
start
too.
there. That's one.
Marketing. So
Yeah. I'm scared to shoot a hinge. Probably a problem too.
Shoot whatever you want.
Yeah.
One of the dudes in my first group shooting an index.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. I talked to the R&D guy from Victory, super cool guy. That's all he shoots, and he's a big target guy.
Well, I mean, you hear Levi say he's been beat by people shooting an index that punched the ever living crap out of it.
You know, this is off topic, but you talk about target, looking at some of the techniques and stuff for some of the target archers is wild for some of the guys that shoot as well as they do. I mean, there's
what you find comfortable, and that's why I try to tell people here. Like, the way I shoot may not work for you. The way my bow's set up may not be comfortable for you, but it sits perfectly still for me.
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked if there was a difference the way you shoot a target bow versus a hunting bow.
There's probably like a pound difference between the overall mass weights of everything, and holding weights a couple pounds off. But
Well, no, I mean like actual your process, the actual way you draw the bow, the way you shoot it, the way you follow through. Nothing changed.
That's like I was looking at a picture of a girl. I don't remember who she shot for last night, and the arrow was way, way low to where you typically see somebody anchor, it was super low and the peep was really, really high. It looked like the arrow was almost like below her chin.
It works, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is, as long as it's repeatable for you and you can do it consistently.
That's what I try to tell people too, especially shooting long range. It doesn't matter where your anchor is, even if it's down here floating. As long as you get that peep centered, you're going to hit roughly what you want to hit.
You'll be all right.
Yeah.
And that's a big misconception with archery. Like, really, as long as that peep center, you could shoot a 32-inch draw length as long as you can see through that peep and center it on that housing.
I ripped my ear off.
Yeah, I don't think I could shoot a 32-inch draw length.
You could do it. Maybe that's what we should do. Set our bows up wrong for tech. See how well we do.
I don't know if they're set up right to begin with.
Yeah, right.
Like, I mean, it's really what everybody finds comfortable, because there's no specific form or technique that's perfect for everybody.
That makes sense.
Well, it's like Josh Bomar was literally just talking about it, looking at some of the factory shooters. His head's way back, and and he's talking about draw length too long or too short, what kind of pin float you'll see. It's super long, circle 8s if it's too long.
Yep.
If it's too short, it's really freaking like a typewriter. So you got to find. And
that's where I think target archery, or if you can have a couple hunting setups, and like you feel comfortable tinkering with, and you can fine tune all of that.
Right.
And that's where target archery for me has helped me with everything. Because I will tinker daily with it. And I've got good resources to reach out to as well when I have questions on stuff, just to see if they've done it.
That's what makes you such a good tech. Like you or JR, if I come into a problem where I'm tinkering at the house, I'll call you guys. Like, hey man, this is what I'm working with. Just like, for instance, when we were setting up my bow for this year, I didn't realize the mods for Matthews would throw the timing off. And you're like, oh yeah, every time. I was like, huh, go figure.
Yeah.
Never would have thought that the mods that you can't tell a difference visually, but it threw the timing from 70 to 80 off.
What do you know?
I don't.
You don't.
That's why I call him.
Constantly learning and evolving.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that makes a tech good, is someone that's willing to be open-minded to continue to learn, because as technology evolves, things continue to change. You get more experience on all these different pieces of equipment. I mean, it grows you as a tech. You just have to be open-minded.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's why we got some pretty good guys.
Oh, yeah.
They're willing to learn and they want to learn. But so moving on, dude. So you're potentially looking at doing another one. Do you have, if you were going into this, again, giving someone advice that had never been to an IBO event, what's your key advice that you would give people? Like, where do you start?
Really just have fun. Like, I go into things with really low expectations.
Be realistic.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I know that I've rarely judged yardage. I can count on both hands how many times I've done it in the past 2 years. So really just look at the resources at hand. There's a number of podcasts. I think even Jack Wallace, who's this senior pro, he's got, I think, a full series talking about step 1 to judge yardage to everything.
Really?
To laying out your range, where you need an indicator every 10 yards, something that you can visualize whether you're in the woods too.
Just
something
constantly.
big enough. Yeah. That way you could look at it and be like, you visualize your bucket at 30 yards.
Mm-hmm.
The target's way past 30. But really just having fun with it. That was my thing. Like, when I shot a 5, I didn't get frustrated.
Yeah, yeah.
Have short-term memory too. Just if you shoot a 5, just go into the next target with an open mind.
I think that's good advice, because one thing that you'll see when guys shooting 3D, like even our stuff, right? They'll get super flustered, and it carries over.
Snowballs.
And it's a snowball effect. And by the end of it, they've blown their bow up and lost an arrow. It's just they get so in their own head that they can't recover and pull themselves out of that.
Right.
And that's what I try to tell the guys I shoot with. And if I shoot a 5, then it's whatever. That's 5 more 11s I've got to shoot to make that up. Or if I'm shooting ASA and shoot a 5, I'm going to start gunning harder at 12s.
Yeah.
I'm shooting for vitals, buddy.
Every time.
Every time.
But yeah,
center 10.
Biggest thing going into it, just have fun. Keep your expectations within
your ability.
Realm, yeah. What you think your ability is.
Is there a reason you went semi-pro vice any other class?
I just wanted to shoot 50 yards.
Okay.
I feel like judging 40 or 45, I know it's challenging, but I don't see the same challenge as being, trying to judge a tiny target or a huge target out to 51 yards.
So what's the class that's below that for 40, 45? Is it just unknown 40?
There's a lot of classes.
Oh,
I think Pro Hunter is 45.
So what do you think the total, because we talked about it, there was only so many people in your classes, and I didn't take into account there's so many other classes. So what do you think the overall attendance looked like? Thousands of people?
No.
Hundreds of people?
I think last year it was smaller than it had been. I think it was around 500, and I think this year might have been less.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the weather was a huge factor.
That was the other thing we
crazy
didn't touch on.
thunderstorms coming
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, because you were going to do some fishing.
Yeah, they got hit with like 7 inches of rain.
That'll put a dampener on it.
Yeah, I didn't get to fish that much.
It didn't rain while you shot, though.
It rained Thursday into Friday morning, and it's just all the tributaries were flooded.
Oh, I'm sure.
The lakes were flooded. Wasn't fun.
So with the Bowhunter Pro, can you like only have certain link stabilizer, no magnification?
I haven't looked at that. I'm assuming it's no magnification. You might be able to have an adjustable sight.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Some of them it's pins only, so you
Right.
need 4-pin or 5-pin.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the rules.
Yeah.
'Cause everything I go into, I do double check the rules to make sure my setup fits that. But I haven't looked at the Bowhunter class.
Got it. So if you do the next one, what are your plans moving forward in order to prep for that? Do you have anything? Are you going to like, okay, I'm going to take this a little bit more serious. I'm going to have a training schedule, or I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing?
I would probably redo my home range. Definitely either do buckets or something that I can visualize. Like I was going to do little survey flags, just little flags, but I want something bigger, and I've talked about it with the group of guys that I usually shoot with. We need something bigger that you could visualize. So like a bucket or something is what Jack Wallace recommends too, and just have it every 10 yards. That way, when you're standing at your 50-yard line or whatever, that you can visualize each yardage.
So you're saying buckets. Are you putting a target beside the buckets, or
I would just have them.
You're just standing there looking at the buckets.
I'll have my 0 mark and then 10, 20, 30 out to 50. And I'll have targets scattered in between all that.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
makes
way,
more sense now. I thought you were just
I've
standing
got
there.
my deer target at 42 yards, but I could see the 40-yard bucket. I could visualize what 2 yards past 40 looks like.
Got it. That makes perfect sense. Okay.
Or
that makes more sense to me now.
If I had the money, I would buy like one of the small targets, like the Wolverine or Javelina, and put him at max yardage, so I can get used to seeing what that looks like.
Right.
So I have a hard time seeing. Like I could see it, but it does not look like 50 yards to me.
Sure.
Makes sense.
You thought he was just out there staring at buckets.
Dude, so that's okay. Tell me that did not what
I'll
it
do that
sounded like.
occasionally.
I 100% did not think that at all.
Okay, so my mind went to, that's why I asked, are you putting targets beside them?
Oh, yeah.
But no,
just
you're
staring.
you're just essentially laying out yardages so you can see, and putting targets in between those to help you gauge distance. Okay. See,
Since it's perfectly flat down here,
Right.
We have no terrain, or our woods are just open pine woods. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to really gauge stuff in the woods here, and then it's also hot and mosquitoes are horrible.
Yeah.
that makes sense. All right, so we're gonna start wrapping this up. Worst shot.
Worst shot? I'm gonna go with either the Javelina or the Wolverine.
Was it the ones that were super long?
The Wolverine, I just could not see 40 yards on, or 37 or whatever it was. I looked, I was like, that's like 30, 31. I held a little high, and I dropped really low.
Dropped it low. Okay, so what about? What was your best shot?
I'll say that long coyote.
Really?
I hit the 11, hit the top of the 11 on it.
At 52,
47.
47.
46,
okay.
yeah.
Dude, that coyote is
Tiny.
tiny. That's
So-
a hard shot if you know the yardage.
Once it's all said and done, do they tell you the actual yardages?
No.
Oh.
I think if you know the officials, you can get it, but
Okay. Yeah.
we kind of just guessed in our group. Mm-hmm. So we'd all 3 shoot or all 4 shoot, and we'd be like, we just accumulate what we all shot it for.
Gotcha.
And the guys that did hit it or hit it high were like, okay, that was probably a couple yards off.
Were there any
guessing.
like just bad shots? Like your sight was dialed right and it was just like a duff.
Aside from the right side, the right issues I had, no. Because
Yeah.
the last thing I think about is my shot with this. I'm always thinking about the number. Because I don't know it well enough.
Right. That's
And I'm comfortable enough with my shot process and everything. Like, I'm just like, the bow's going to sit still. I'm just more worried about, did I guess the right yardage?
Gotcha.
Makes
Okay.
sense. That makes sense. All right, dude. So we're gonna wrap it up, man. It sounds like, I mean, obviously that's pretty impressive. You 40 points higher than previous.
Still room to improve, but yeah.
I mean, always.
I'm happy with what I did.
Yeah, I mean that's really what matters, and you did better than you did last time.
Yeah.
So, I forgot to ask this. Are you going to run the same bow setup for the next one if you shoot it?
I've got no reason to change it.
Okay.
I've been really impressed with that bow.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you shoot it very well to be able to shoot.
I slapped it together and I've not changed anything. It's been amazing.
That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win. Dude, when you find a bow that shoots really good, it's hard to change. Like
Very.
Yeah. Hoyt blew it out of the water with that one.
Well, good on Hoyt. They make a good bow anyways.
They do.
Yeah, tough. All right, dude. I know you're kind of a private guy. Do you have any social media that anybody follows you, or you put out any?
I have an Instagram and Facebook. But I don't ever post anything.
You don't ever post anything?
Yeah, I just follow stuff.
Well, if you're
It's
looking,
all archery related.
if you want to get a hold of Cody, you can get a hold of him at the shop at Extreme Outfitters. He is our lead tech, very talented, and clearly a very good shooter and dedicated to the world of archery. So yeah, that's awesome, man. Bryan, you got anything else?
No, sir.
That's it.
That's very interesting, but definitely opened my eyes up.
It does, dude. It makes you kind of.
I kind of want to try it.
Yeah,
I do. I want to try it.
It's fun.
We could go up there and just pay a lot of money and lose arrows.
The vet class is, I think it's maybe $40, $60, and it's only out to 40 yards.
It's doable.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have a good vendor row too. Good barbecue. Real good barbecue.
So that's why, is there, so with those classes, the lower classes, like you said, the vet class, is there a speed rating?
Yeah, 290.
Oh,
Pretty
easy.
sure.
Okay. Because that'll put my pins super close with my arrows set up, and I just put them all on the target at the same time.
You got to build a new bow, man.
Why?
Because that's what archers do. You got to have a bow, an IBO bow.
Okay.
You got to. You have no choice.
Well, it's a good thing I know a place to get one.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Appreciate everybody for listening. That's another episode of the Archery Project. Make sure you guys go and give us a rating. We need some ratings on this to help grow if you enjoy listening to the content. So, again, got any comments, drop some comments for us. You can listen to it on Spotify, Apple. You can watch it on YouTube. Head over there, like it, follow along, drop some comments, give us some feedback, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.